Welcome to the 100th Mile podcast, presented by John Schubert and myself, the race director of the race. 4,000 kilometers across Europe, unsupported solo or pairs.
There's no point in me being here really anymore, is there?
No, you're redundant.
But I am here, and actually, where are we?
We are in Giovinazzo in the south of Italy.
Which is the finish line of the race. Because the first rider on the road is getting very, very close, and we've been racing across Italy all day, and we'll tell you about that in a short while. First of all, let's look at the map, because it's midnight.
It is midnight.
And the riders are still moving. The action is intense. There are some real battles going on. I think people realise that this is the last push. So, I mean, there's no one else to start with, really, is there? The reason we are here right now, tonight, and we've been travelling all day, Adam Bialek, front of the race. What's he got? 150 kilometres?
Probably close to 200 kilometres. He's in Campobasso at the moment, and he's probably had 100k of downhill from Passo Godi. We did actually watch him physically get to the gates. That's why we were there.
And I actually managed to have a chat with him, so you can have a look at that from earlier today. I'm at the top of the Passo Godi. This is the 11th and final gate for the riders, and Adam is coming through shortly. So I'm going to get down that climb, see if I can find him, and see how he's going. Only 300 kilometres left to go after this epic race that's gone on for over a week. So let's see if we can catch up with him. The man, the myth, and the legend. Look at Adam Bialek. You know, people have been saying, they say, there's the humans, and then there's Adam.
I'm still human.
I don't know, buddy, by the looks of things. And how far you're winning this race by, I'm starting to question it too.
Well, I'm doing my best as always.
You feeling okay?
Tired.
Yeah.
The whole day I'm struggling with tiredness today. I don't know, I felt like I slept enough, but maybe the efforts from the previous days are setting in now, and I'm starting to feeling it much more than before.
Are you looking at the tracker?
I did today in the morning at 5 or 6.
So you know you have a very, very big lead.
Yeah, I saw that.
And you're not tempted to stop and rest?
Why should I? I can stop and rest at the finish line, right?
I love it. That's why this man is a champion. So you're coming up here to the 11th and final gate. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, it makes me feel really good, to be honest. It's a sense of achievement reaching the last gate, and I'm really happy about that.
And so you should be. What a ride. So you got a bag around your handlebars?
Yeah.
What's this?
I just put it over my Garmin because I got caught by a hail thunderstorm or something.
Yeah.
Quickly, just before I started climbing up here. You know, I just wanted to protect my electronics a little bit. It was still hot. It was still brutal today. Plus the tiredness.
Yeah.
It's not getting easier from day to day.
But it's a lot cooler up in these mountains.
It is, yes. At least not close to 40 degrees or something.
And what is your plan from here?
I definitely need something to eat. Haven't eaten something for a while now. And maybe I will do one climb more to get to Insania, I think the town is called. And there I will have several options. Stay there, choose my route. I've got 3 versions for the finishing stretch.
Ah.
And Probably I'll check the weather forecast first before I decide.
Is that why you've made 3 routes, depending on the weather?
No, not really. Depending on how I feel. One hugs more the coastline. The second one, yeah, also a little bit. And then the third one is just inland. With a little bit more climbing, of course.
Yeah. Wow. I don't know if you realize, but everyone is watching you behind. They're watching your dots, and a lot of them are changing their routes. And they're thinking,
Really? They do?
yeah. They think, well, if Adam did this, it must be the best. And
I would bet.
you're an influencer, Adam. You're an influencer.
Well, that's a luxury I don't have. You see?
You're doing so well, my friend. This is it's an amazing performance. You should be very proud of yourself.
Yes, I am, but yeah. Before I start celebrating, I will want to reach the finish line first.
Yeah, well, about 300 kilometers to go, I think.
Yeah, a little over. Should be doable.
Yeah. Well, I will leave you in peace. Enjoy your ride.
Thanks.
I'll see you again soon.
Bye bye.
Cheers, Adam.
What did you make of that then, Ian?
Well, I thought he was moving pretty well, although he's showing his human side.
He said he was tired. He said he was tired.
The man has done.
Maybe he's trying to trick us.
Yeah, maybe it's just mind games, but maybe he wants us to oversleep so that he gets to the finish line and there's nobody there to welcome him. But he has done 3,800 kilometers ish, maybe 3.9, and we expect him here probably in the early hours of the morning, something like 9 o'clock. Maybe.
But there are other races going on behind. Talk us through what's going on with Lucas now.
So Lucas seems to have made a good push and created a really good gap after his hike bike over Nivelay. Now, we always knew that he had a decent advantage over Will Valston.
From that point.
From the point of meeting at the Velodromo Refuge just outside Torino. He has been stopping a lot, and we have caught him a number of times stopping a good while. And not necessarily even sleeping, but he has also been sleeping a lot. But while he's awake, he moves very fast. He's a very strong guy. And he did beat Alan Bialek in Trans-Pyrenees last year.
To me, it looks like he's got about a 7-hour lead over Bruno, so it's
Yeah.
comfortable.
So Bruno Vic's my prediction for third place. He has got a bit of a gap over the other guys. He is, though, closely followed by Michele Pagano and Will Valston. There was quite a nice race going on there, and we noticed that all three were on the Asciano Strada Bianchi, white gravel road parkour near Siena. Very famous white gravel roads, absolutely stunning, very spectacular. The only kind of off-roads that there are in Via this year. So it was great to see the three of them backing it out, although Bruno seems to be constantly pulling out bigger and bigger gap.
They're really pushing that. I mean, I think it's amazing that they're this close after over a week of racing.
They've probably done 3,500 kilometers so far. Bruno's just rounding Lake Trasimene, and there's a good story about that connected to Hannibal.
If we move back, we've got another cluster of riders, haven't we, fighting for the top to stay in the top 10 or the lower places in the top 10.
Yeah. So then we have 6 to 10, I think. So we have Rob Roy Cameron, Christian Jakobek, Mark Buchel, and Chris Thomas has just appeared around the flats of Florence, having all passed over the Apennines. So that's the first crossing over the mountains in Italy, the Apennines from around Vignola to Pistoia. So they've passed through the 9th gates.
I think they're really pushing each other, aren't they? In my mind, that's the only thing that explains why they're so clustered together. They don't want to. When they see one another start moving away, they're up and they're moving, and they.
I think they motivate each other and they're pushing each other. I think the one exception to that group of 4 is Christian. So he slept a long time at Velodromo before he moved off, and he's out of sync with sleep stops, and the others tend to sleep all at the same time in pretty much the same place, same sort of area, and he doesn't. So when he gets up, he leapfrogs them, and my prediction is he's going to go clear tonight. He's going to keep moving. He may even catch Will and Michele if they can't stay awake, because I think Christian, in his mind, has the plan to go all the way to the finish from Florence.
I think the positions we see here now don't do Christian's ride justice, as you said, because earlier this morning he had nudged into third place.
Yes.
Then I think he had to sleep. But
long sleep.
If you can ride through the night, and the temperatures are as high as they are now, touching 40, high 30s, do it. That's a good tactic.
Right now, temperature's about 25 outside, but they have been as high as 40 again, and there's a lot of energy and time to be saved by riding at night when it's cooler. This may be part of his strategy, but it just may be the rhythm he's fallen into.
I think this is getting really exciting as we into the final throes of the race.
Yeah, I mean,
and these people, I think we're probably going to see the amount of sleep coming down as they all vie for this. They know they've been out there for over a week, and final push. Let's get there. Let's get that position.
There's no reason why the first 4, 5 couldn't reach Giovannato sometime tomorrow, going up to midnight, say. And they all have very different strategies. They all have different speeds of moving, their efforts, their pacing, their sleep, and we have a real mix of experienced and inexperienced riders. So one of those inexperienced riders is Rob Roy Cameron, and he seems to be somewhat erratic, but credit to him, he has come back from a lot of free reading errors, pacing errors. I think he's settling into rhythm, and he's very fast.
I mean, people are taking different routes, but it's not as diverse as when all the riders first started. So I get the impression that if they're behind Adam, a lot of them are starting to look at the alternate routes that other people have taken and the best options. But I tell you, the real shake-up happened at Refuge 2, and there was a real broad split of people taking the northern or the southern route. And we now know that if you did that bit of hiker bike, you took the northern route, you were saving yourself a number of hours. And there's been a big shuffle in the whole field behind there. And we'll see one of our rookie road riders who we've been following, Will Dixon. He and the other fastest rookie in the race, Sam, both took that northern route, and he's managed to jump ahead a few places. So lots of interesting things going on back there. We didn't mention the women yesterday. Let's go through that now, shall we? This is quite exciting because we kept saying Joanna was in the lead, storming ahead, and I'm looking at the map right now, and she's just coming up to Veloroma, and Saz Harris is already there. Yeah. So that's the closest the two of them have been.
That is the closest they've been, and it's impressive how much ground Saz Harris has made on Joanna. Although Joanna coming in from the north to Velodrome, the second refuge, Saz being at the same refuge, Saz has yet to climb Colle del Nibelek, and that's probably worth about 6 hours from the refuge up to Nibelek and back down again. So Joanna probably has somewhere in the region of 5.5 hours lead. Saz has been riding super strong, whereas Joanna has fallen out of the overall top 10. That's not to mean that she isn't riding strong. She is still riding super strong.
I think that race is still all to play for. They're incredibly close. Even if Saz does take a few hours to catch up a little bit of ground on Joanna. So yeah, eyes peeled, looking out for that one. Anissa still strong in third place there. We don't know if she's going to take the northern route or the southern route yet, but we'll find out very soon. And yeah, she's doing very well. Fiona, powering on behind. I know she's had some issues. You've heard from her today with her knees.
So yeah, we have heard from her. She has had some issues with knee pain. She's been in touch with her coach and physio, who've advised her to change her position or get some tape and activate her glutes a bit more. She was really struggling to climb hills. And getting stabbing pains. This has been happening since yesterday. She's been thinking about scratching, but then she's changed her mind. She's had a little bit of time off the bike, and she's determined to press on.
Good for her. I'm really glad to see she is. Paracycling category, obviously Wayne, we've talked about him before. Do you want to give us an update on what's happened to Wayne?
I have heard from him, and he does report that though he's disappointed, it is for health reasons that he's decided to scratch, and not because he couldn't go any further. So his residual limb, or as he calls it, El Stumpy, has become infected because it's so badly damaged because of all the rubbing. And,
Not to mention the heat.
it's partly because of the heat and partly because of the friction. Both don't help, and the almost 2,000 kilometers that he's successfully crossed Spain, covering all that distance with,
It's amazing.
Really taken its toll.
Considering we know he was in pain very early on, that he's gone as far as he has.
Yeah, I mean,
He's a tough man.
the guy has huge amounts of grit. In a 600k Audax, he didn't tell us that although he scratched, I think 500 kilometers in, and something like 24,000 meters of climbing, he pulled out a carbon splint from his prosthetic, which had pushed itself into his stomach. So that needed to be pulled out. That caused another infection. It's really hard to keep that stomach clean and well.
Okay, well, we've got one final category, and that's our pairs. Our leaders, Ian.
Of course, it's the Swiss. Like clockwork, they're moving forwards.
But what is interesting, our British pair, Matt and Harry. Harry's obviously no longer in the race. Matt doesn't get to qualify if he finishes for the pairs category, but he's right up there next to them. Maybe he's got a point to prove. I can win this pairs category even if it's unofficial.
Much like Saz and Joanna, Matt is at Refuge 2, the Velodrome outside Torino. He has yet to climb Liverpool, so he is behind Remo Koch and Michel Bouchelli, who have just descended Nivelet. So they are 6 hours behind, although I think they were much further ahead than they are right now. We know Matt has a huge engine, having broken the record of the North Coast 500 last year, supported by one of his best friends, Harry Johnson, who's now scratched as his partner. So that engine is really showing itself, and I think he was very much holding back until junction could be made with Harry, allowing him to catch up after the first couple of days of heat stroke. So now that Harry has scratched due to severe saddle sores and bruising, Matt is now free to absolutely smash it.
Okay, so scratch riders. How many riders have we lost to this point?
Not sure. Somewhere around 10.
Those are low numbers considering the heat and the conditions and the distance.
Absolutely. I mean, we only had 4 riders scratch in Spain.
Yeah.
Out of nearly 80. That's very low considering it was 40 degrees every day.
And our latest scratches from the race. Have we had anyone today or yesterday?
So Brincina scratched due to exhaustion. I'm not sure if I mentioned Jack Rendell at that time, and actually started to pick up his pace. He'd done 300 kilometers a day. He recovered from the heat very well, but yeah, it being his first ultra race, it's a huge learning curve. We still have.
We lost Alan.
Alan Shaw also scratched today, also due to knee issues, although different kind of knee issues. He thinks something due to his that there are some pins in his knee which hold his knee together due to a big car collision a number of years ago, which hospitalised him. But we're very sorry to lose Alan because he was a cracking character, really big personality. Riding a cargo bike across 4,000 kilometers is a very big deal. It's hard enough as it is. It's made harder with the heat, but with knee issues from long-term injury historically, that's even harder. And I can completely understand that he needs to scratch because it's his long-term health which we're concerned for. It's only a bike ride, and we don't want anyone to cause themselves permanent damage. Speaking
of scratch riders, someone we mentioned earlier in the race was Paolo Botti. he was doing really well. He was up in third place until he eventually had to pull out just past Le Bézier, first rest stop. We actually, on our way down south through Italy today, managed to catch up with Paolo and find out exactly what happened and a little bit more about his story. So there's a feature that you can watch now. Enjoy. He tells it from the heart.
When I was younger, I have a big shape, you know. I was very muscular, and people used to call me like Magilla the gorilla or elephant. So it was perfect for me. Huh? VRS was perfectly fitting for me. I was one of the unable elephant. I thought that about that. So it was great for me. That's why I decided. I'm a competitive guy, so I try to be in the first for sure. But if I was in the five, I would be very happy. I don't start thinking that I will win, because I know that in life there's always someone stronger than you. But at the same time, when I start a race in ultra cycling, that you have a lot of time, I know that I have to take my pace, do my job. If it will be the best way of cycling of all the other people, maybe I can also win. If it's not, I will arrive. I came to the race with an infection that I took on the night. It exploded the night between Sunday the 14th and Monday the 15th. So on Monday, it was impossible even to sit on a seat for me. And so I went to the doctor. The doctor told me, no way for you to go to the race. You have to stay home because you don't have enough time to recover. You can take the antibiotics for 5 days, 3 grams a day. Then you have to make a lot of. But I talked with my parents and I tell, I'm here. I want to try. If I won't be able, I will come home. No problem. It's better to try than to left. I managed to do the first days as fast as possible, but not to stress my body too much. From the start, the infection was under control, you can say. You know, I have a high level of tolerance of the pain. That's I think it is not a good thing, you know, because I can go forward because I don't feel the pain, or I feel less pain that I really have. And it's not a good thing because when I'm over, it's over. When I'm over, it's impossible for me to go over. That's what's happened. My start was as I planned to be. My plan was to do the first days not at the best speed, but to have a good pace and arrive in Italy, and then from the Piemonte to the end to open all the gas air. In the first days, I bike 850 kilometers. When I understood that I was on the Bena road, it was a mix of sensation. You know, it was something funny because it was crazy. It was on the Bena road after all the studies I have done on the road. And a very sad sensation because it was difficult to me to reach to the top. For 7% medium, many parts were over 10%. It was hot, really hot. I wasn't tired. I was in a good shape at the moment, so that wasn't a problem. And so when Inga wrote me, Paolo, you're on a bad road, I was so sure that it was on the right side of my route that I thought, And I simply respond, no, I'm not. And I saw there's a route over there, and that's has to be the band road. This is another. They are parallel, so that's the reason why, Inge, you are in fault. That's your fault, not my fault. And so, after I understood that it was my fault, and immediately I understood that it was something serious, because if there are rules and you broke the rules, I'm a lawyer, so I know what it means.
So we've got a rider who has, I think, misunderstood or not read the race manual, the compendium as we call it, and he has ridden all the way up a band road up to the top of this climb. When we experienced it, it was very busy, lots of heavy traffic. We're just looking for him now. Do we have his GPS signal?
He's over there.
Okay, we need to turn left safely.
There's another one, yeah.
Okay. So there's going to be a slight telling off, but he will not get disqualified. There we go.
Hold on.
Buongiorno.
Are you okay? You're okay?
I'm okay. But I was sure that the banner road was the other one, the big one. And my tracker made a long stripe and I didn't understand where I was. So I came here, and when you say you're on a banner road, I said, no, I'm not. I was sure. I want to come down, please. Give me a penalty, whatever you want.
No.
Calm down, calm down.
Calm down. Don't worry. Look, if it's a misunderstanding, that's fine, right? But I think you should have plotted your route a bit better.
If you saw,
It's fine. But the GPX files were all uploaded so you could see not to go there. Yeah, so we're very precise with that. Your penalty is going to be just going back down and going down safely and then rerouting, because this needs to be banned for everybody. That's a very busy road. When you go a bit further, it's very busy. So all you need to do is go back down and reroute. All right? So no penalty beyond that.
I thought even that the opportunity that was given to me to remain in the race and continue, even losing some time, was a big opportunity, and I have to thank the organization about this. And then I took my route, and I didn't even think about all the time I lost, because I was happy to be there, and they can still manage to arrive to the end, even because it was about the first 1,000 kilometers, so it was 3,000 remain, and everything should happen, no? I feel some pain in my bottom, but was under control, and I start to feel something even in my mouth. I have the broken. I broke my mouth over here, and I have a fever here, and then I have all my the inside part of my mouth was broken, and so it took difficult to me even to eat solid meals, because everything I was crunching was hurting me. And then I had other problem in my intimate, because I thought I finished all my vitamins, and so my body left me slowly but definitely. And then at the 5th day, after the busy, the refuse, when I stopped the refuse, I restart, and I was in a medium shape. And after 1 hour, I felt that I was completely off. And so I knew that it was hard for me to end the race, but I thought it was even possible to end it. So I tried. I did my best, and it wasn't enough. That's the sport. You start with the best intention and with the best shape, then something could happen. In ultra cycling, it's very easy that you can have a problem of any kind, physical, mechanical, mental, everything could happen. And when I decided to stop, obviously I was sad because I dedicate a lot of time, and I was very happy to participate at this race. And then I have the finish even was in Italy, and I have to bike all Italy from the north to the south. That was one of my objective of my target and I didn't do it from until now. And so obviously I was sad, but at the same time I was conscious that it was impossible for me to go over. So it was stupid even to be angry, or completely upset for these things. My first ambition via chapter 2 is, first of all, to be there. And then, whatever. If I will be able to compete and I will be in a good shape, obviously I will try to be in the first 5, as usual. That's my target.
So it's really great to talk to a rider like Paolo, who did such a great race under the circumstances of having a health issue before the race, which we weren't even aware of. Because when riders scratch, they usually just disappear at home, and we never get to hear their story. So to be able to spend the time with him and hear that story was really powerful. It really touched me. Just what a great guy he was, and how much he enjoyed himself in the race. And for me, it was just great to hear his praise for our entire team and how we handled various incidents. And we really wish him to come back next year and race him.
He's a fantastic guy, and to start a race like this with the infection he had, another tough nut, which I think obviously most of these riders are. Okay, well, the last thing to do, Ian, is to make predictions tomorrow. Some easy ones, I think. What are you gonna say? What are you gonna guess for the estimated time of arrival for Adam?
So I reckon that Adam will probably arrive, if he rides through the night, around 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock in the morning. Oh, time for coffee and a lie-in in that case.
No rest for the wicked.
Sounds pretty good. There are battles going on behind. I think Lucas is a pretty sound bet to come in half a day behind, would you say?
Yeah, probably something like that.
And then it gets interesting. So from my third place, we go Christian.
That's a bold prediction.
Yeah.
So I think that Bruno is just as bold as Christian, and having the lead he has of 100k, that's a big gap to close.
So that's the easy option, isn't it?
Well, I did predict Bruno for quite some days.
Of course, it's never quite running this race meeting. Just write the results before it starts.
Well, I did predict the top 10, so they're all in my top 10.
All right, well, we better go and get some sleep. I've got this many things, but we better go have a rest because it's going to be a busy day tomorrow.
Absolutely.
More excitement. And our first riders, fingers crossed, crossing the finish line after this epic race. Ian, thank you very much for introducing it, doing most of the work. Happy to be here.
As usual.
Yeah. So from us, ciao for now. See you tomorrow.
Ciao.